Hey guys, and thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Good Children. For more of this delightful podcast,
find us on Patreon.
Patreon.
7
Patreon.
buckaroos per month. You have 4 extra episodes.
4 episodes, video and audio. And let me tell you, I'm addicted to that app.
Joe's addicted to the app, but also for good reasons. I feel like our patrons are coming in full force.
They are the most important people in my life.
I'm seeing so much of your face for the first time.
Isn't that crazy? I have a chin.
You have a chin. You have a jaw, Joe. You were talking about your face, I feel like, recently, and you were like, it's just not the same as it was.
Well, it's not the same as it was in 2020.
Well, I would hope so.
I would hope. I realized I gained 40 pounds, I think, since COVID. 40.
That's kind of hot, though.
Oh, it's not bad, but it hit me. I was like, oh, that's a lot of weight. Actually, more than probably like 50.
I think I'm about the same.
But on the way here, I was like, whoa, I didn't realize that happened.
We're kind of gainers.
We're in our gainer era.
But
gaining followers, gaining weight,
and
losing
gaining
money.
confidence. Oh,
good children.
Whoa.
I just wanted to like mix it up.
Yeah, you're changing things up.
1, 2, 3.
Good children.
Something was kind of happening. Okay, one more time. Staccato. 1, 2, 3. Good children. I feel like in 2 years that will be good. Like I think
so too.
We'll do it for old time's sake. I'm almost gonna start layering.
Good children. Do you think that like if there were still ringback tones, people would make that their ringback tone?
I would hope. Wasn't yours?
Just we don't have to always talk about it.
What was it again?
There were a few. What do you mean?
Wasn't it like
buy you a drink?
Buy you a drink, right.
Buy you a drink, and then it was
Was it your ring back or your ring tone?
My ring back.
What was your ring tone?
My ring tone was Sean Kingston.
Which song? Fire Burning?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Fire Burning.
Somebody call 9.
But yeah, is that good?
Yeah.
But like,
mine was Rockstar by Nickelback.
Of course.
And it was literally the girls come easy and the drugs come cheap.
I really do miss them. I do.
Nickelback? Ringtones.
Well, what was the thing with Nickelback, though?
People hated them. People loved to hate. I don't know if they like were problematic, but like it was just like, you know, like every couple of years you pick a new band to relentlessly
hate. Is it kind of like Nicolas Cage? Is
that
his name?
Yeah. What about him?
I just feel like people love to hate him.
There was a time to troll Nicolas Cage. Remember when everyone was obsessed with Chuck Norris? Remember that shit? I never cared for it.
Never. And then he got the shoes. Were those his?
What do you mean?
Chuck's.
Let's just start the podcast.
Okay.
You mean like Converse?
Yeah.
I don't think they have anything to do with Chuck Norris.
You're kidding me.
I think there's no correlation between Converse sneakers and Chuck Norris. But I could be wrong.
No, you're probably right.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Good Children, the podcast where hosts Joe Hegyes
and Andrew Muscarella
reflect on our 22 years of friendship.
Growing up in the late 2000s, early 2010s.
And all of the nostalgia,
trauma,
and frequently asked questions that come along with it.
Joe, is it almost 23 years of friendship?
We can't keep doing this.
We can't keep changing the years?
We can't keep doing this. So we met 2001. It's 22.
Okay. We met 2001? I thought we were 4.
It was like right before 9/11. Was it not? It was going into kindergarten.
We were already in kindergarten during 9/11.
Yeah, we were summer going into kindergarten.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
I think that we changed it in 2020. I think we changed it at the year and not the actual anniversary. So like next year, in January, we'll say it's 23 years of friendship.
Oh, I'm so sorry that I missed the anniversary.
It happened. Wow.
And I feel stronger for it happening.
Yeah, me too. Today's episode, we asked our patrons to send in questions, call us, send anonymous messages, send it all for the podcast.
And they did.
It's been a year since our last FAQ episode. It was actually September 7th, 2022. Wow. Fackets.
I actually obsessed
With Fact It?
With Fact
Yeah,
It.
it's Fact It's 2.0, I think. Although I would say some of these questions are not frequently asked. They are just being asked for the first time.
Well, I would hope people want something fresh and new.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I think we just get right into it.
Let's do it.
Did you have senior superlatives? What was yours?
I think that mine was...
This is from Gerald Lee.
Oh my God, I'm obsessed with you, Gerald. Most likely to become president. It was me and Jasmine Rashid. Shout out to Jasmine.
Trump.
What?
Nothing. Keep going.
What'd you say?
I didn't say anything.
Trump?
No, I didn't say that. Just keep going.
Most likely to become president, and then best friends with John Paul Weiss.
Love that.
And I remember not getting most likely to become famous.
And you were mad?
Of course.
One of the 7 superlatives. Like, I would have stolen your windshield wipers so fast. So fast.
That's so messed up to say, Joe, because that's a sore topic for me still.
I was nominated for most artistic. And I remember someone saying, do you think they meant most autistic? Listen, different times. This one is from Liz Rain. Tips for how to stop the constant comparison of yourself to others and where you are in life versus them in your early to mid 20s. Listen.
Brene Brown said it best.
Comparison is the thief of joy.
You gotta stop.
Just live.
Just live. It's so easy, but it is like really hard. Like when you see other people being successful, or they're making a lot of money, or you feel like you can't go out and you can't spend money, or you're not feeling fulfilled in work or whatever, like it's so easy to be like, oh, my life sucks. Like I'm a horrible person or whatever. Like I think that if I'm comparing myself to Joe, I think that especially at the beginning of our careers, I was like, oh, you have it made. Like you're going to be completely fine. Like I had this like entry level position where I wasn't making a lot of money at all. I kind of was like, where do I go from here? Yeah, this job is amazing, but like, what does the trajectory of my career look like? Right. And that led me to like spiral a little bit. But then when you can learn to like,
and I was like all over social media being like,
and you're like,
new shoes, vacation.
Balenciagas, I'm TikTok famous. And I was like, oh my God, this is so amazing. This is so incredible. Like, I love Boston. I'm gonna die. But yeah, it definitely like is not easy, but it's just like knowing that everything is gonna work out. I don't know.
It all works out. I think it is like you have to like recognize that when you turn, I'd say when you turn 30, you're not going to look back at your 22-year-old self and say, I wish you were doing more.
No.
You're not going to think that. From Kennedy Sundberg, Queen.
Kennedy is a queen.
Commenting Queen. If you could have a useless superpower, what would it be? You could teleport only from airport to airport. It's for an example. I'm going to pick that. I would love that. That's perfect. That's not useless at all. That sounds like I would love to be that superhero.
A useless superpower being
teleportation from airport to airport only.
Wow.
I'm fine with that.
I would love to like snap my fingers and have like a beautifully cooked meal that I didn't need to cook.
I would love that.
But that I felt like a connection to that I could have cooked.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
All right. Like a microwave?
No. I'm like, I snap my fingers for 3 minutes and my food is just done. No, but like chef's quality, Michelin star, boom, let me eat it.
I love that.
Of course it's food. Have either of you been in a toxic relationship? And if so, how did it affect your friendship or your future relationships?
No. Have we?
I don't know if you've been.
Have you been in a toxic relationship?
No, but
I've been in toxic friendships. Yeah, for sure.
I wanted you to be able to toxic friendships. I think it's interesting, especially when it comes to toxic friendships. Like, I've definitely been in a lot of toxic friendships, but I am somebody who allows myself to get swept into a dominant personality, I think. I wonder why. Like, I wonder why I'm like just like looking for people to tell me like what to do and dom the fuck out of me. But yeah, like I think that like especially from 18 to 25, like I've had a few friends that like I got swept up in as well, but like I let them sweep me up, and then I had this like feeling inside of me being like I'm not good enough in this friendship because I can't give you everything that you
no
want
boundaries.
from me. Exactly. So I was like, I felt like in these friendships, I was in relationships and I've never been in a relationship before. So I was like, oh, I'm dating you and like, you don't want me to go out tonight. Like, I think that's a little bit crazy. No, I was in, and yeah, we won't mention the person, but like, it would be to a point where they would be like, why are you going out tonight? Just stay in. Let's watch a movie. And it's
like me to you.
Yeah, right. And I'm like, wait,
you're talking about me. I won't mention the person, but like we live together.
Actually, yeah, like we lived together for a little bit, and like still, but yeah, I think, but I don't know if you felt it because a part of this question from our queenie Kimberly Jordan was like how it affected like you, and I think like. Has it ever affected each other?
No, there have been times when you've had friends though that and you know this,
obviously,
that I've been like, that person sucks.
Yeah,
and I think
because you saw it, like,
well, yeah,
and I think for me on the other side, like, I would be like, why does Joe think that my friends suck? Because they have.
Yeah, that's part of it. Yeah, like I just but I mean. It's also subjective.
It is. I know.
It's also subjective. But I think that good advice for like a person in their early 20s is all those like crazy moments are also going to burn out. Like everyone gets too tired to have this drama. Like the right people will find you.
Yeah. Oh. From Lana Walker, what's the strangest habit the other does that actually irks you?
In a funny way.
But in a funny way.
Yeah, I read that one. Huh. Do you have one ready to go?
Not like, I guess it was, no.
What?
No, I was going to say it's the strange thing or a habit, but it's like, Joe's a commenter. Joe loves to like poke. And like, he'll be like, what are you doing here? Or like,
you really
I'll be
love
like,
that bathroom.
You really love that shirt. You really love that kitchen. Or I'll be like in the kitchen, like trying to like you'll be in the kitchen. I want to grab a little something. You're like, funny that we're both in the kitchen right now when I'm in the kitchen. Why are you here? So like, it's something that I've absolutely gotten used to in my entire life. It irks me, but it does make me laugh.
It is like a problem I have. It is I like to observe and comment on what I'm observing.
And then sometimes I'm like, Joe, I literally feel like I'm in a zoo.
And then when you do snap back, I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, he has such a good point.
Yeah.
For you, I mean,
I'm scared.
No,
but it's funny.
It's funny. No, there's a few options. It's everything that I point out. It's the same. We're talking about the same exact scenario. Yeah. And no, I think that I would say the number one is when you're in the bathroom for like 45 minutes. Yeah, that's usually it. Because it gets me thinking about what you're doing in the bathroom. You know, like that's the problem. Suddenly, I'm like, what bodily function could be happening? He's been in there for so long.
So funny that like my long ass bathroom experience
becomes
your spiral.
Yeah. It sucks that I'm next to that bathroom now because now I hear it.
Yeah, well,
it's like surround sound shitting.
Because the thing is about a bathroom, like it's my sanctuary. Like
right.
I like to be, it's quiet. Like I'm with myself. Like I'm performing bodily functions. Like I'm like,
I just don't know how long
releasing
it takes someone to shit. Is my question.
I'm not shitting for the entire time. Like I'm shitting like here and there. Like I will be the next Elvis Presley, but like I'm like pushing shitting and then like also like on my phone and like looking at some things and then I get caught up in that. And then like I'll stop shitting and then I'll, like out of nowhere I'm like peeing for a little bit. I'm like,
I just like that's something that really it confuses me. I understand that I'll never understand, but still I stand.
It's so
you know.
Good. Thank you.
What pop culture moment in the 2000s altered your brain chemistry?
Altered my brain chemistry? Lady Gaga meat dress.
Yeah, that was a big one.
I think that for me was like the first time I saw somebody that was genuinely being like, fuck it, major. Yeah. And I was like, she's an icon.
Yeah.
And like her name is in everyone's mouth.
I remember going to school the next day. I'll never forget it. It was so good.
Have you thought about like what's your meat dress?
Well, I know that if I was ever to do Drag Race,
yeah,
my meat dress would be showing like my entrance look would be me completely covered in blood. Like I would want to walk out. Like everyone's like, "Hey girls, looks like there's a new diva in town," and like does a death drop, and I would want to walk out like
would you scream or like quiet?
No, I was just like, like over and over and over again, and be like, "Hey." but like soaking blood.
That's good.
But that's if I was on Drag Race. If I was
Well,
if I was a pop star, whole different story.
If you were on Drag Race, which who knows?
I'm not planning on it.
Mine would be like, I think it would be like I guess it's like copying her in the meat sections, but like I think it would be like the makings of an Italian like hero, like different Italian meats, the lettuces, the like I
Okay.
want to be drizzled in oil, like I
Love
want to
that.
be a sub.
Well,
When I'm just I
you're-
walk in
you've
as an
always been
Italian,
an
sub.
You've always been an
I've
Italian
always
sub.
been
That's not a bad drag name.
Italian sub.
Welcome to the stage, Italian sub. Big boobs.
I've been bouncing these tits lately. Like when I walk, like it's no longer like it's like I walk and I let them just jiggle.
You're like
just,
Beyonce on
Yeah,
stage.
literally, like I'm literally popping them up and down, and I'm like, that is so hot.
Yeah.
Like
I've been saying this shit
I know.
to you for years.
I know,
for
but
years.
it's like you've been saying it for years, Joe. Sometimes you say things to me, and I'm like,
You're like, he's lying.
he's lying,
He's
but like,
sabotaging me.
yeah, actually, like he's like, your boobs are so not whatever. No, you never said. You have said that though.
What?
My boobs. You like
I've
my
told
boobs.
you. I've told you to breathe out. I've told you to show off your chest. I've told you so many times.
Yeah, but now I'm bouncing. But big boobs, yes.
Big boobs. You know what that's from? Big boobs.
What? You're not gonna let me know. Like this is the thing
It's
too.
Nicki. It's Nicki Minaj on Instagram
Oh.
Live. Someone says
Okay.
big boobs. Do you know Sasha? It sucks. It sucks. It sucks. It sucks. It sucks.
I should have a finance podcast. I wouldn't be able to do that either.
We have Della Wheeler asking us, I'd love to hear more about both of your career journeys.
Okay, Della.
I mean, talk about an interview. You know, this is
Della Muscarella.
Della Muscarella, Della Wheeler Muscarella.
My firstborn daughter is Ella, and my secondborn is gonna be
Della.
Della. Ella and Della.
Yeah, then Stella.
And Stella.
I could see you having triplets into Ella, Della, and Stella.
Stella. Yeah.
And they would just be demons.
I mean, like, my kids are going to be demons regardless,
Yeah.
and we know that.
Talk us through your career journey. There's a lot.
There is so much. There is so much. So we've talked about this, but for those of you who don't remember, I was a finance major. So I started my career off thinking I was going to be an investment banker.
Can you, and I've said this before, but can you
Yeah.
imagine you are a rich person who needs someone to invest their money in like stocks? Is that what investment bankers do?
Yeah, I would assume.
And the person you meet with is Andrew, and he is like, you are gonna absolutely love this stock option.
I'm like, you're going to be obsessed with Stanley Black and Decker, and let me tell you why. Their tools are amazing, and the stock's only going up from here. Little bit of risk, high reward. You know the deal. And they're like, no. But the thing is about investment bankers, it's like sometimes I would like feel slutty in a suit. Like I
well,
just,
that's the thing. I think we should start wearing suits every episode,
Right?
because I think I just want to be horny like that.
because if you lived the life of an investment banker but wasn't like you weren't an investment banker, like
so you
that's
just
kind of
wore
like,
a suit. There are
Yeah.
other jobs where you get to wear suits.
okay, but like okay, that's fine. But anyways, so I was an investment banker, or like on track for finance. In school, was doing all of the investing, $500,000 of the school's endowment, and then my internships in school were at the U.S. Capitol on the Financial Services Committee, and then also at the New York Stock Exchange
I mean, talk about a failure.
on the trading floor.
You really were set up for success. And you're doing a podcast.
I was recently mentioning this to somebody. They were like, "Oh, like what did you go to school for?" I was like, "Oh, finance," and then they were like, "Oh, that's really interesting." And I was like, "Yeah." So like, they were like, "What were your internships?" And I told them, they were like, "What do you mean though?"
Right. What do you
Because
mean, though?
those were like
What
actually
do you
really
mean, though?
incredible
internships. And you landed at Gay Podcaster.
I landed at Gay Podcaster, who's still thinking about whether he should get the $10 lunch.
Yeah.
No, but I'm good with my finances.
There's no such thing as free lunch.
And that is the main principle in finance, Joe,
I know.
in economics.
Because I was a business major for a semester, for a year.
I love that. I really do.
I was in the Zarb School of Business.
Zarbs. I was a Salinger.
Wow.
Zarb and Sal. They probably
Welcome to Zarb and Selinger.
I can't imagine they were good people.
No, I can't imagine either of those men were good for the planet.
Absolutely not.
No. Because Hofstra's School of Business used to be the Madoff School of Business. Bernie Madoff went to Hofstra.
Well, you would think that's... Never
It's
mind.
my future.
Yeah,
I'm this generation's Bernie Madoff.
But yeah, then my career journey took me to almost doing the Disney College program because I
Right.
actually was having a mental breakdown about the fact that I would need to be an investment banker and I wanted to make a lot of money, and that was the only
So you said,
sole purpose.
I would like to become a shallow water lifeguard and make $14 a month and at Disney.
Because I wanted some sort of fun in my life. I felt like there would be community, I would have fun, and I would feel a little bit of the pixie dust all up
But
on
you're
my
not
body.
even a Disney person. Like, that's what's insane about the fact that you did that. Like, you don't, and then
No, I
you
know
actually
you're not dissing me.
detest like the Disney parks. Like, that's not something you like at all. So when you were like, I'm gonna do DCP, I was like, what the fuck? Like, what? Like, why?
Because like
Avoidance,
but I'm somebody who's like willing to give something a shot. Like,
Yeah, but
I think that I would have left loving Disney.
No, the DCP kids don't. The kids who are obsessed with Disney don't leave loving Disney. The ones who the reason that you do the Disney college program is because you have been so brainwashed by Disney that you believe that spending like 6 months there is going to make your life better.
I just needed to like lose sight of who I was. I needed to lose me to love me. You know what I mean? And like I feel like at that point in my life I was like losing sight of what I wanted and who I was, and like I needed to find love for myself and for my trajectory of my career.
Have you found it?
Well, this is my career. Yeah, from Disney College program, I didn't do it, and then I decided to move to Boston, start a new life, and started over Augustana, and I started at EF Educational Tours, and I was slinging those calls, calling middle-aged women in the middle of Ohio and selling them on trips to Paris, Costa Rica, wherever they wanted to go. And I'll tell you one thing about EF. The way that they got me is the way that they pitched the job, saying, pack your bags and pack your passport. I didn't go on a trip for the first year and a half. They had me behind that
I remember
phone.
you called it your dream job, which was interesting to me because I hadn't heard about it prior.
Yes, I definitely did use the word dream.
DJ, yeah.
I was DJing. The reason I think it was my dream job at the time was because I could...
It was a job.
Because it was a job and I got one. And I did not have to justify to my family that like I didn't want to work a corporate job.
Right.
Like I had a corporate job. It still didn't feel super corporate
Right.
because it was like beer in the lobby.
Yeah.
I was like doing spin classes at lunch and like so on and so forth.
Right.
Then from there I quit and I became a full-time fitness instructor.
Full time.
For a second, would you say?
You were full time for a second.
I went to F45 and I said, I can't do this anymore. I'm selling travel during a pandemic. And
Yeah, that was classic.
And
there would be times where like you would just be like, "Fuck," and you'd be like, "The entire group is in like Spain right
Yep.
now, and I forgot that they need to get their COVID shots before they get back." Like it was the scariest time of my life. Like you'd be having mental breakdowns over like 45 high schoolers who were stranded in Europe, and it was your responsibility.
it was like I burst. Like I felt like
Well, it was your job.
it was my job. And can you imagine seeing the news and it's saying, we have a national shutdown because of COVID-19, and you have 2 groups in Paris. What are you gonna do? I couldn't sleep at night. I felt like I needed to go. Like it was insane. I was dealing with too much stress, and I was like, this is my first job ever. Why am I experiencing this stress?
Yeah.
Realizing that jobs going forward, you still experience stress, but it doesn't need to be to that magnitude.
No, once a job is ruining your life, you got to quit.
You gotta quit, and you told me that.
I love to quit.
Love to quit. Then I went into fitness, and then now I'm here, full-time podcaster, and I also work at Session in Williamsburg. Joe, let me hear about your career.
I'll make it brief. So I was a business major for a year. Got out of that. I always had, since I was in high school, I was like, I'm gonna make something of myself. I'm gonna make a name for myself. I did not believe that would happen with a college degree. I had no interest in a college degree. Nevertheless, I went to college. Biggest mistake of my life going to college.
Think?
I would do, if I can go back in time, I would immediately. I would tell my 17-year-old self, don't go to college. Focus on the internet. Focus online. I didn't learn a single thing in college, and I stand by that. Maybe the fact that I got a journalism degree helps with a podcast and helps like interviewing and that. But aside from that, it was a waste of my time. I hated every second of it. I didn't learn a single thing. I did intern I think my first internship was the Emmys.
Yeah, that's insane.
That was interesting. I felt very cool. That's when I remember just eating a Kind bar every single day.
I don't know what it is about you. It's like I'm just obsessed with you because I really like any job that you had, any internship that you had was like the first word out of my mouth.
I was able to secure some like cool titles places. And the Emmys, I mean, what I just did was I sat and watched international television all day and like logged it and subtitled it. From the Emmys, I think I was interning at Newsday, which was my first full-time job out of college. And I remember when I got that job, I was just so sick. I remember sobbing, saying yes to it. Not because I didn't want it, but because I was like, this is not what I wanted for my life. Like, I was like so afraid that
you were going to stay on Long Island for the rest of your life.
And like that was my whole goal was to move out of Long Island. And I was so, I remember like in my creative writing class, like I wrote, like we had to like write our worst fear, like epitaph on tombstones in creative writing. And mine was like, born and died, like Long Island, New York. Like, that was my biggest fear, was never leaving Long Island. The drama of that also is just so good.
The drama. I do remember when you took that job, I was like, I can't.
I know. It was scary.
See it because you also didn't drive. So I was like,
I was getting driven to work by my mom. Yeah.
No. Yeah. Like, I was like, this is where it ends for Joe. And I'm living my life.
But I did that. I graduated early, took that job, and by the time that you guys graduated, I was already at BuzzFeed. So they created a role for me at Newsday. This happens a lot. They created a role for me, and I immediately quit. So within 3 months of starting that job, after interning there, I quit and moved on to BuzzFeed. BuzzFeed was my actual dream job that I was applying to throughout college, like begging to. It was like when BuzzFeed was cool. BuzzFeed was no longer cool at this point, but it was still like, if you were there, you know, like the era of BuzzFeed videos, like the top down like tasty videos, like it was the bright backgrounds that the employee, like the workers, like tasting different foods. Like that's all I wanted, was to like be in a BuzzFeed video. That was my dream.
BuzzFeed, like
the grip
had such a grip on this society, and
it was crazy.
It was crazy. Like, I was only watching tasty videos.
Yes.
Like, if I was making a recipe, I was only looking at tasty recipe videos.
I would only watch BuzzFeed videos in general, like Unsolved, like the Try Guys. All of that was like my culture. And then I got there and I leaned in. And I was doing like parenting content, which is so funny. I know so much about placentas.
You being like, I have to do a video on like Castle Playground.
Yes, and I loved it. I loved every second of it. I was doing parenting content with, it was like me and Francesco, my like first gay friend, and we were like the most chaotic, evil, nasty gays in the world. And we were like, this mom just made art using her child's first like haircut, like love this, with like pretty music behind it. And then we would like be like, I want to fucking kill myself. I hate my fucking life.
And they're like, good job, Joe, got 1 million views.
I'm like, thanks.
Better next time. You're like,
my next job after BuzzFeed is when I was Carly Kloss's YouTube video editor, which was a really transformative time in my life. Such a unique experience, like in so many ways.
I will say, again, when I found out you got that job, I was like,
crazy.
That's amazing, insane. And then like a few months into it, and again, this is just my experience with your workplace. This is nothing against. If I thought I lost Joe to Newsday, I thought I lost you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really easy to get swept up in it. It was, I mean, the opportunities afforded to me at that job were insane. Like, my first day of work was the Met Gala.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Because your whole life has been, like, again, you wanted to be famous. You wanted celebrity.
Yeah.
Like, and you are now in the circle.
Yes. Well, yeah,
arm's distance from
the circle. You know, I'm the
Yeah.
lowest on the totem pole of this place. But it was great, like being at I wasn't at the Met Gala, but I was like at the Mark Hotel, seeing all of this shit around me, like seeing celebrities in the hallways, like all of this shit I dreamed about my entire life. Like I remember leaving that day and like walking down the street, and the feeling I felt was I'll never do that for the first time again. I was like, I experienced something for the first time, and no matter what happens now, like it happened. Like I can't have that first time ever again. It was
you
like
no longer have to lie about these
I no longer have to lie about going to the Oscars. Yeah.
No.
Hi everyone, it is midnight. I am in my room at the Mark Hotel before the Met Gala. I have been working for 14 hours. Thankfully I will be going to sleep before waking up at 7 a.m. to get this video out. So while working with Carly is when my first TikToks went viral, and I started to be like, oh, there's a world where I could do this for myself. So I started working with more clients under the Carly umbrella. I started working with Ashley Graham, who became like a very close confidant at that time. Truly inspired me in so many ways.
I was gonna say, I feel like she was like a huge role model for you in so many ways that like even like body or like putting yourself out there or whatever, like you needed her at that moment.
She was the first person I told about like getting a manager and like writing a screenplay. I was like, I can't tell anyone else this, but I want to tell you. And she gave me like advice that I stuck to. Like it was it was so important at that time. And then it just became like my time to go. Like I was like, I don't think I can do. My friends were freelance. I was like, I think I could go freelance. We had moved. I think that once I moved into New York, and I knew that like I could sustain my life on like money. I had money to pay rent. I was like, I could go freelance and see how this works.
Yeah.
And I went freelance, and the rest is kind of history. I've worked for a few different companies, a few different people. I've done a few different jobs. And now we're here. And this is the only thing I do.
Yeah, the fact that you're 27 years old and have had, obviously freelance is different because you can take like different roles, but you've had like 15 roles.
I had a lot in like the first, like before I was 25. Yeah.
you were like 6 years into work at 21.
Well, that's the hack, and I've said it before in this podcast. You gotta lie. Everyone at Clossy, they thought I was much older until I revealed that I was like 24.
Because you didn't put, what was it? You didn't put your years.
Don't put your graduation dates on your resume ever. They like you don't need to. Just leave it off.
You didn't need to go to. Did you need to go to school?
No.
But you already like you didn't need to learn the internet. You already knew the internet, so it was like. I really do believe I should have went to school for the internet.
Yeah.
I just need a typing class.
You just need to learn how to use all your fingers.
I just need to learn how to use.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to pull up some messages.
Hey, besties. It's Maddie and Sarah. Say hi, Sarah. Hey, besties. We were just wondering, who is in your dream blunt rotation? Minimum 5 people each. Thank you. Bye.
Maddie, Sarah.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so Sarah.
Down to Maddie saying minimum 5 people each. There's
minimum
rules.
5 people each. Sarah, say hi. Hi, besties.
It is really,
It is. I actually would love to know if that's who they identify with.
No matter what, we're telling them that's the truth, even if it's the opposite.
Mario Cantone.
What the hell? Out of the gate?
Yeah, I've been on my Mario Cantone kick. He's been coming up on my I don't know why he's coming up on like my sponsored reels or whatever.
He's posting to reels.
He's posting to reels, or he's like doing brand partnerships. But like
sense.
every single time he speaks, I'm crying
That's
laughing.
me.
And if I'm high, like I can't even imagine what it would be like.
Yeah,
Mario Cantone. I think we might share this one, but Lord, only from like I want her to actually like.
I think Lord would freak you the fuck out.
She would, but I think I need
that.
But I'm gonna think about it in the context of all the 5 people that are gonna be there. Because Mario is also gonna be like, the fuck? Well, who is she? Lord, Ina Garden, Raven Simone, and Selena Gomez.
Those are fucking cop outs by the end. Selena Gomez. You want to smoke a joint with Selena Gomez? That sounds like a nightmare. I'm sorry.
She's not gonna cook me a meal.
No, I would say Beyonce Knowles.
Love that.
I think that would be one of the craziest experiences of anyone's lives.
What is she like?
Can you imagine? Beyonce Knowles, Britney Spears, Taylor Swift,
Stephanie Germanotta.
Absolutely not. No, I love her, but I would never want to be high in the same room as Lady Gaga. No, Emma Chamberlain
Yeah, she's good.
and Brenda Song.
Brenda Song,
is just
bring
floating
her
there.
back.
Brenda Song.
That would be. I actually would love to be with Brenda Song.
Brenda Song.
Anna Kendrick.
Stop. We have a message from Danny.
Hi, boys. It's Danny.
Danny.
Hope all is well with both of you. Whenever you get this, I'm calling right now from the inside of my car because I didn't want my family to hear me leaving a voicemail at 9 o'clock at night.
Danny went out to his
probably
car.
wondering if I'm schizophrenic.
No, he's so mean.
But my question for today is, how do I guess, get over a lot of anxiety in life and kind of, well, that's such, oh God, that's so broad. Why did I say that?
Danny.
There it
but,
is.
you know, like, I hold myself back so much because I overthink and I put such, like, a weird emphasis, I guess, like this high importance on everything being perfect. Or not being perfect, but going perfectly, particularly with friends and relationships and going out to the bar and like meeting guys and that whole type of thing. It's just everything has to be right. Everything has to be perfect. I have to look good. I have to be this way. Things just have to be right. And I guess I struggle with getting in my head a lot and I guess overanalyzing people's, you know, little reactions here and there, or, you know, what do they mean by when they said this thing in this specific way in their inflection. So yeah, I don't know. I just kind of, I guess I struggle with that a lot. And I know that you guys have talked about it. You know, like it's been mentioned a few times, and I'm just curious as to like what your take would be on that, because I know, you know, we're always evolving and changing, but it's definitely something that I struggle with and I want to get better with. And, you know, I just wanted to say thank you so much. And I know I've said it so many times, but thank you. Thank you so much. This has really been like a really big source of joy for me. So I really appreciate you two. Yeah, thank you. Hope to see you guys soon. Love y'all. Bye.
Danny.
What I think is really special about the voicemails specifically, obviously, is like hearing people. We know Danny, but like every time we meet Danny,
I was just thinking we only ever meet Danny in high adrenaline scenarios.
high adrenaline situations, like where we just came off of a show or like we saw him at an event or whatever, and you never can get deep with listeners like this. And like, I think allowing this space it's really special.
Yeah, Danny is Danny's up there as an A-list listener.
Yes.
Has met my mom.
Yep. Has traveled to multiple different destinations
Yeah.
to see us perform.
I think that what you're speaking to in this is like the root of the podcast.
Yeah.
Do you think it's conscious? I feel like I've slowly, it's happened without me trying.
I agree. I think that like we're obviously inherently like more anxious people, and we're always thinking. But like even in the situations and like I think that, would you say that you're a perfectionist?
Yeah.
Yeah. Same. And
Yeah.
like I think that, again, obviously if you know that you're not going to be good at something, or it's not going to be perfect, or it's not going to go right, like you're going to stop yourself from doing it.
It's also like for gay people, I guess, but like The Velvet Rage is like a book that talks about this. It's where it's like, it talks about like basically the good children complex, where it's like, because you're gay, you have to be perfect at everything else. Like you need to just be this overachiever, perfect person, because you have to like make up for the fact that you're gay, quote unquote. Like, and I think that that's a struggle that a lot of gay people live with. And I think a lot, I mean, I can only assume also, if you're a woman, you're born into this world, even if you're a straight man, actually, you still feel this need to like compensate for something because of like the pressures that are put on everyone.
Yeah.
I think I remember struggling a lot with that particular feeling though, of like whenever I'm talking to people, I'm like in my head thinking about what they're thinking about and like trying to read their minds and trying to make sure that they like me and that I like that. Like, and I don't know what shit. I honestly like hate to say it, but I kind of think shrooms really changed it for me.
No,
I kind of think that was the moment.
Yeah.
It was like a big enough ego death where I was like, this doesn't matter.
It opens your mind to like so many different avenues. It's also like you can't spend your life, and I still experience it. I'm just experiencing it in like lower doses at this point. But like when you are in conversation with people being like, oh, they think I'm weird. Or I experience it with like text, right? Like I'll text it back and I'm like, oh, that was really weird. Like I shouldn't have said that.
I think that I think you might always hear those thoughts in your head, but I think it's a matter of managing them. Like I think that like, and again, this was also mentioned on the next Patreon, like when I'm in a situation now, I'm like, I'm in control of if I get to decide if this interaction is good. Because if I walk away and say, I enjoyed that, I really don't care if I don't care if the other person thinks I'm like a freak who can't hold a conversation, who can't be normal. Like, as long as I'm in my body maintaining a calmness and maintaining like literally whatever, I want to get something out of this situation that's positive.
Yeah.
I don't really, it's like you hear those thoughts, you're still like, oh, I wonder if they think I'm weird, but you're like, it doesn't matter if they do. It does not matter
if they think I'm weird. I am weird.
Yeah,
like
that's also part of it.
Yeah.
The weirdest, most socially awkward, anxious, strange people are the people who I think are the coolest.
I think that they're the ones that, like, especially if you're doing what we do or in life
any
in
creative
general,
field.
like any creative field or whatever, like are the ones that make it.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest lesson. I'm starving.
Okay. Today,
I'm not touching those pretzels.
why? Because it's going to give you acid reflux?
No, because it's going to make my breath taste like onions for 2 weeks, no matter how hard I brush.
But Joe,
and
they're
scrub
so...
and
Okay, we
scrape.
don't have to eat them today. I got the honey mustard onion pieces.
They are so good, but they literally last in your mouth for days upon days.
They're so good. Okay, well, I'm not going to open the bag then. I'll just keep them. But the other thing, I was just in New Orleans this weekend, and I went to the New Orleans School of Cooking to watch a cooking demonstration. My queen was Harriet. She was about 75 years old. She was cooking, and she made these pralines, and I was like, I got to bring these back for Joe. So I got a box, even though we're not going to finish a box. But you know what
What's a praline?
So a praline, it's like brown. It's brown sugar. There's like maybe some molasses. There's pecans, and it's just like a little brittle almost.
Okay.
But this one just felt different than the other ones I had this weekend.
Okay. Wow, it's from the New Orleans School of Cooking.
Yep.
A Creole confection.
Yep.
Oh wow. Oh my god. I mean, it almost smells like when you walk into a really good ice cream shop.
That's exactly what it felt like. Because it's like soft and it melts.
Oh, shut the fuck out.
Not too sweet.
It's very sweet.
It's like only sugar. But the other ones that I had were like a little chewy. This one just like is perfect. The people in the South know how to do it right. They're not afraid of sugar. They're not afraid of butter, frying things.
I'm taking loads.
And taking loads. And we'll leave it there. Come to the Patreon to find out more about that.
Wow. That was a fun little chatty episode. Who knew where the directions it was going to go?
I thoroughly enjoyed that episode.
Yeah, it was different.
I kind of love getting questions and going from there.
Yeah.
Oh. And just like that.
And just like that, Big was dead. We'll see you next week for an all-new episode, but until then, you know exactly where to find us.
We're across all social media platforms at Good Children
Pod. I'm on Instagram at Joe Hegyes and on TikTok at Be Quiet Joe.
I'm on Instagram at Andrew Muscarella, on TikTok at Andrew_Muskie. Don't forget to do your homework. What?
Don't forget to do your homework.
Don't forget to do your homework. Like, comment, subscribe, rate, review 5 stars.
Spread the good word.
Spread the good word. We have so many exciting things that we cannot wait to share with you. I was crying
so
yesterday.
crazy.
I was crying.
Crying. It's insane what's coming up.
It's insane, and I think it's going to change the course of all
history.
of our lives.
Yeah, everyone as a group.
So in the meantime, we'll withhold that information, but when the time is right, we'll release it. Oh my god.
Hey, my best friend's brother is the one for me. Hey, a punk rock drummer and he's 6'3".